Hello, my name is Dorothy Javid, and today we will be exploring the history of special education law in the United States, especially focusing on how these laws support students with disabilities and their families. Knowing this background can help families, parents, guardians understand how their children's rights in school have developed over time. So, a brief history of special education. Before the 1970s, many children with disabilities were excluded from public education, often sent to a separate institution where they didn't receive the same level of education as their peers were. This all began to change in the early 1970s with key court cases and new laws. For instance, there's the Park versus Pennsylvania case in 1971, which ruled that children with intellectual disabilities have the right to free public education. Shortly after, there's Mills versus the Board of Education in 1972, which expanded this right to students with all types of disabilities, emphasizing that schools couldn't deny education due to cost. Some important judicial decisions were the landmark decision in the Board of Education versus Rowley in 1982 clarified what the free appropriate public education, or the FAPE, requirement meant under the Education for All Handicapped Children Act, which we now know as IDEA. The Supreme Court decided that schools must provide enough support for students with disabilities to benefit from their education, though they aren't required to maximize each child's potential. Something in the recent years was Andrew F. versus Douglas County District. That was in 2017, and it emphasized that students with disabilities should receive more than minimal progress. Instead, they're entitled to an education that allows for more meaningful progress, raising the students for what is expected in their education. So, a little overview of some key special education laws. One of the most important and impactful laws for students with disabilities and their families is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA. It was initially passed in 1975, and IDEA guarantees that students with disabilities have access to a free and appropriate public education in the least restricted environment. This means that students should be educated with their non-disabled peers as much as possible. Another essential law is the FERPA, or the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, which gives parents rights to access and control their child's educational records. It also helps to ensure that personal information about the students is kept completely confidential. So let's touch on two court cases that are directly related to parental and student rights. So there's Andrew F. versus the Douglas County School District, which set a high standard for meaningful progress for students with disability, reaffirming parents' rights to advocate for educational goals that go beyond the basics. Another case is the Schaefer versus Wiest. That was in 2005. This case decided that the burden of proof in disputes over an IEP lies with the party bringing the complaint, which is usually the parents unless the state law says otherwise. Some recommended resources for parents to stay informed and get support. The first one would be the Virginia Department of Education, Special Education and Student Services, which offers comprehensive information, guidance, and updates on special education policies here in Virginia. The Rights Law is an excellent resource. It's a national resource, providing information on special education law, advocacy, and the best practices. Another one is the Council for Exceptional Children, the CEC, which supports professionals and families with resources on current trends in special education. And the last one that I'm going to recommend is the Parent Training and Information Centers, the PTI centers. They exist all across the United States and offer trainings and support for families navigating special education services. So I appreciate you all watching. Thank you so much. Special education law has come a long way and provides families with essential rights and protections. These resources can help you stay informed, advocate for your child, and ensure they receive the quality education that they deserve. If you have any questions, reach out to your local school or one of the resources for guidance. Thank you.